Tank carries the power. He's sneaky. Explosive.
Yeah, he sets traps, and he's got ridiculous one-punch knockout power, too. He's just such an interesting fighter because his style is so different from everybody else. He's so conservative in the early rounds, throws so few punches, and he lets you work. He lets you work, and you're backing up, and you're always afraid of that power, and he's just moving in, trying to find that opening where he just gets in there on you.
Nah, I'm not shocked. I mean, his last fight when he fought Lamont, Jake Paul was at the fight. He told y'all he was going to fight somebody like Jake Paul. So I'm not shocked. It don't surprise me. So
Joe Rogan has delivered a serious warning to Jake Paul as he prepares to face Gervonta Tank Davis. Speaking on his podcast, Rogan cautioned that stepping into the ring with a knockout specialist like Davis is an entirely different level compared to anyone Paul has fought before. While Rogan did credit Jake for his commitment and steady improvement as a boxer, he stressed that Tank's explosive speed, punching power, and high fight IQ could quickly expose any flaws in Paul's game. Rogan made it clear that this isn't just a typical celebrity boxing match. It's a high-risk challenge that could go badly if Jake underestimates what he's up against.
Boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
Rogan has often spoken about Gervonta Tank Davis's knockout power, calling it downright scary and even comparing him to a smaller version of Mike Tyson. While discussing Davis's 7th-round knockout win over Ryan Garcia with comedian Ali Sadiq, Rogan pointed out how Davis can produce enormous punching power despite having a relatively compact build. He commented that there's nothing particularly imposing about Davis's physique at first glance, which makes his explosive strength even more surprising. Rogan also highlighted how Tank's aggressive approach in the ring amplifies his intimidating aura.
I am a Gervonta fan. I think that guy's so unusual. Yeah. His style's so unusual, and it's like patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Leo Santa Cruz fight was really something for me because Leo Santa Cruz is a technician. He's great, Mexican style, but he's also a technician. And that fight was very close before Tank stopped him.
Yeah.
But he has that power that can end it.
Well, he finds these openings and he sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient.
Right.
Like when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because he just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can fucking crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence in that. I like watching someone who's exceptional at it. Where it's just like the technique is so dialed in.
Yeah.
You know, there's guys that like Gervonta Davis is like that. Their technique's so dialed in that when you watch them uncork, it's like, oh my God, the efficiency of it. And so I was just a giant fan of the guy. I just loved as a person who like really enjoyed technique. I like watching someone who's exceptional at it.
Even though Rogan believes Jake Paul isn't ready to face elite-level boxers like Tank Davis, he has still given Paul a lot of credit for what he's accomplished in the ring. Rogan described Paul's rise in the celebrity boxing scene as a smart and strategic move, calling it genius from a business perspective. He acknowledged that Paul has evolved beyond just being a YouTuber, showing real boxing skills, solid ring IQ, and an ability to promote himself effectively. According to Rogan, this mix of talent and marketing has helped Paul stay relevant and land major paydays. Still, Rogan keeps things in perspective, recognizing that Paul's fights are as much entertainment as they are competition.
But is this Logan Paul, is he a legitimate boxer?
A legitimate boxer, yes. People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. And the way I look at it, I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fucking fight. He knows how to fight. Like nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well. He looks good. And if he was just an up and coming boxer that was this exciting, like highly promotable, like really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the future. He's really something special. If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that, you'd be like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
A big part of the buzz around this matchup comes from the stark physical differences between the two fighters. Jake Paul stands about 6'1" and usually fights around 199 pounds in the cruiserweight division. On the other hand, Gervonta Tank Davis is much smaller, standing 5'5", 1'2", and normally competing at around 135 pounds as the WBA lightweight champion. That nearly 60-pound gap has sparked debate about whether the fight is fair or even safe. Still, both fighters have agreed to move forward, with Paul reportedly planning to come in at around 195 pounds to help level the playing field.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis is official. A lightweight takes on a heavyweight, a bit insane, a big size difference, but also a speed difference. I want to talk about this fight, my picks and predictions for how it's going to play out, and basically just let's run it. So the only combat sports fight I can think of off the top of my head that was similar in the size disparity is Buckley versus Rizabuyov. Now look at these guys. Buckley is 5'6", I believe 5'7". Rizabuyov is 6'5". It just looks ridiculous. Jake Paul, it says 6'1", but I think he's more like 6'2". He's a big fucking dude, 76-inch reach. Well, Gervonta's only 5'5", with a 9-inch reach disadvantage on Jake Paul. 9-inch reach. You're having a laugh, bud. But she's not all about size, boys. As Buckley showed against Rizabuyov, speed is a factor, and these little guys can move. Buckley actually won this fight on points. A lot of jabs to the body, just jab to the body, overhand right, on repeat. Rinse and repeat, use your speed, get out of range. When you're in range, you're hitting the body, hitting up top. When you're out of range, you're just moving around and keeping the big man moving. And I do see this going a similar way. Now, I'm not a Jake Paul hater by any means. I actually think he's pretty decent. But just the size difference, I mean, he weighs almost 100 pounds more than Gervonta. I mean, he is going to be a lot slower. And Jake isn't the most explosive and the quickest guy. I mean, like I said, I'm no Jake Paul hater. I actually think he's pretty good. He's got power, a lot of power. But he's just not that quick, and Gervonta is very fucking quick. Now there is no way in the world Gervonta Davis finishes Jake Paul. You cannot pay me enough on that pick. But Gervonta Davis on points, I think is basically signed, sealed, delivered. It's going to be jab to the body, move, jab to the body and move, and jab to the body again and move. It's all it's going to be. So if you're paying for this fight, I mean, I think it's on Netflix, so most of us should be locked and loaded, but if you're going any way to pay for this one, don't even bother. It's going to be boring as fuck. It's going to be Gervonta jabbing the body and Jake Paul missing overhands. That's what this fight's going to be, and it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be 120 to 100 in favor of the little man. 5'5", 63-inch reach, Gervonta Tank Davis.
For Gervonta Davis, the real danger isn't physical, it's reputational. Losing to Jake Paul, who holds a 12-1 record but far less professional experience, could damage Davis's credibility with boxing fans and purists. Meanwhile, Paul has everything to gain. Beating an undefeated world champion would skyrocket his reputation and prove he's more than just a celebrity boxer. Still, not everyone believes this bout even belongs in professional boxing. Critics, including fellow fighter Ryan Garcia, have questioned its legitimacy, comparing it to scripted entertainment rather than a true competitive clash. Garcia scoffed at the notion of Davis bulking up close to 195 pounds, calling it unrealistic and warning that boxing is drifting from sport to spectacle. Despite the backlash, the fight is expected to draw massive attention, especially with Netflix set to stream it live worldwide. As Garcia put it, boxing seems to be shifting toward popularity over merit, chasing money fights instead of real competition. And that he warns, is slowly eroding the sport's integrity.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah. But if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion, multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris Algieri, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you. You're probably going down if you're a small guy. If he hits you clean, so we know the risk. But how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing, and I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, mind you?
All right, so it looks like it's official that Jake Paul is going to be fighting Tank Davis. So pretty crazy considering Jake Paul is 6'1", 220 walking around, and Tank Davis is 5'5", I think he's 140 walking around. So we're talking about 80-pound weight difference and then 8 inches of height. Everyone's been telling Jake Paul that he needs to fight real fighters in their prime. And Gervonta Tank Davis is in his prime and one of the best fighters out there, but this is just ridiculous. Let me know what you think.
Joe Rogan has openly questioned Paul's recent choices outside the ring, especially his decision to delay a scheduled clash with Anthony Joshua until 2026. Rogan expressed doubt about the move, even joking that Paul might be loading up on steroids, suggesting that the delay seems suspicious. Given that both fighters appear ready to compete now, he views the postponement as strange and thinks it could be driven by hidden motives rather than actual preparation. Despite Paul's size advantage, many boxing analysts still believe Gervonta Tank Davis has the edge and could score a knockout victory. Former world champion Sean Porter confidently predicted that outcome, stating, "I'm putting my money on Tank. You might be surprised." Analysts largely agree that Davis's lightning speed, sharp boxing IQ, and destructive punching power can overcome the size gap. To them, his proven skills outweigh Paul's physical attributes. Within the boxing community, opinions on this potential matchup are divided. Some say it damages the sport's credibility, while others argue that the financial draw and massive hype make it an unavoidable spectacle. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next big boxing update.
What Gervonta Davis did for your preparation?
You know what? I think getting him on the back end of the sparring was more so to make sure the eyes and the focus and everything's there. He is one of the sharpest boxers I've ever been in the ring with, and I'm sure it won't change. It won't change much after being in the ring with Terrence. I would imagine that Terrence will be the sharpest, but that boy Tank is sharp.
What do you think?
Will Tank Davis knock out Jake Paul? That's a question that many people are asking now that they're actually set to fight November 14th. Most people think that the weight disadvantage is going to play a major role in how this fight's going to turn out. Personally, I could kind of see a knockout. We already saw how Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather did, and that was like the same type of weight difference, I believe. Also, on top of that, any punch could be a knockout shot. It just has to be placed well with time, and we know that Tank has explosiveness and amazing timing and accuracy. So at the end of the day, it's always possible. But Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. I think it's just going to be another Jake Paul decision fest match. I don't think that anything super exciting is going to happen, but it is kind of interesting to think about. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You could knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you are saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
Daniel Cormier was stunned by the announcement of a Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, mainly because of the huge 60-pound weight gap. Speaking on The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Cormier said the matchup feels more like entertainment than a traditional boxing contest. Still, he surprisingly labeled Davis as the betting favorite, pointing to his world-class skills outweighing Paul's promotional influence. Meanwhile, ahead of Jake Paul's fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Georges St-Pierre gave him some advice. Don't get stuck thinking about old losses, especially the one to Tommy Fury. GSP shared how he once lost to Matt Serra and explained that chasing revenge can be risky and distracting. After Paul's win over Anderson Silva, GSP admitted he was impressed, highlighting Paul's discipline, smart use of body shots, solid defense, and strong ring IQ. He also credited Paul's business drive, saying the Paul brothers are talented athletes who took full advantage of the social media era, though he noted they still haven't reached true elite boxing status yet.
So, Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Davis. I'm serious. It's real. 199 in Paul's last fight, 133.8 for Davis in his last fight. I discussed that and so much more at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific at my YouTube channel. The link will be in my bio. But hey, I thought he was going to fight Anthony Joshua. How do you end up from Anthony Joshua to Tank Davis? I discuss.
My brother has an 11-1 boxing record. The one came from a guy by the name of Tommy Fury.
Yeah, watch that fight.
Jake, obviously, super hungry kid, wants to avenge that loss, but Tommy won't take the fight.
When I lost to Matt Serra, I was obsessed of revenge. So one of the sport psychologists, he made me take a brick and wrote the name Serra on it. So he made me carry a freaking brick in my training bag until the point I couldn't take it anymore. He made me go to the Saint Laurent River and he made me throw the brick. When I did this, it kind of releases me. But my point is that it's awful and it must stink like fucking crazy. But you need to focus on the next task because that could be a big mistake.
Boxing great Carl Froch harshly criticized the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight, describing it as a complete mockery of the sport. Froch dismissed Paul as unproven and argued that the fight means nothing for real boxing. He even mocked Davis's past opponents like Mike Tyson and Chavez Jr., calling them past their prime, and boldly claimed he'd come out of retirement just to teach Paul a lesson if needed. Froch sees this event as proof that boxing is drifting into circus territory. He insisted that even now, years after retiring, he could clear out fighters like Paul with ease. Many critics share his opinion, saying this matchup is more of a spectacle than a sport. They argue it's designed for money and attention rather than genuine competition, pointing to the massive size gap, exhibition format, and streaming hype driving the event. Former world champ Andre Berto called it a clever business move focused on profit, not the sport's honor. On The Herd, the fight was labeled confusing and dangerous for boxing's future, warning it could turn the sport into a sideshow. Even Ryan Garcia, a former lightweight rival, dismissed it as a joke fight, comparing the whole idea to WWE-style entertainment. If you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss the latest boxing news.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España. and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in, and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share, and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Frotch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
At first, Gervonta Davis completely brushed off Jake Paul, calling him a clown and saying he wasn't worth taking seriously, not even for a big payday. But over time, Davis's opinion started to shift. He admitted that while he still sees Paul as a bit of a showman, he's gained respect for the way Paul continues to train and push himself. Davis noted that Paul isn't just chasing attention anymore, he's genuinely trying to build a boxing career. Although Davis isn't fully impressed with Paul's skill level yet, he now acknowledges that Paul's determination and mental toughness show he's taking the sport seriously.
About Jake, what do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah,
like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be in a box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
What's your take on Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Gervonta Tank Davis despite the massive weight gap? Share your thoughts down in the comments.